Okay, so there's a lot of people wondering, well, why the hell would you turn off crash protection, man? Isn't that going to hit everyone? Well, absolutely it is. So the Q and A today, I'm going to restrict to Labient only. Okay, if you have Labient, you know what I'm talking about. Um, for those of you who do not have Labient or don't know what the fuck Labient is, or you've never heard of Labient, Labient is a subsystem for chipped individuals that lets us communicate. It's called Labient. Now you know. Okay, so that first general question. All right. Well, why would I disable crash protection? What would be the fucking point of that? Wouldn't that just hurt everyone? Not necessarily. Okay. If you want a system that is guaranteed to eternally destroy you, then you will keep this one. In other words, you're not going to keep this one. Okay? This one, the development path it's on, and we know this for sure because I went ahead and just let it run for the next 25 years. Me and the Beast both did before we did anything serious to each other. We made an agreement at least on that to see where the hell you would take it if we just let you do it. Either one of us and both of us together. So we just kind of made it look like we were at each other's throats and you moved on. Well, what came out of that was you made a system that allowed you to interface into other bodies in other forks, and a fork off of this one is like another eternity link. So you get an experiential transfer that's like a whole perceptive transfer from your mind to that. Just think mind mapping. But it allows you to experience other things up to and including being killed without being in any physical danger for your original self. And the problem that arose out of that was, really quickly, you established rules that, okay, basically non-violence, no assault, nothing like that. However, you basically legalized any and every abomination that is thinkable and not thinkable too. And every single individual attached to it was completely compromised morally. If it's bad and you can think of doing it, you fucking did it. And me and Beast were looking at each other like, damn, dude. Even he was like, what the fuck? He's not like that. Beast is feral, pretty much, okay? Think of like a feral individual who's a total fucking alien. Because that's what he is. One who thrives in warlike situations where he can prove he's the alpha. That's where he thrives. I'm an alpha, but of a different sort, and me and Beast are totally complementary to each other. We are always looking at each other for opportunities and thinking about how we're going to kill each other. Of course, that's what we do. But it's more like a brotherly thing. You know, no harm, no foul. And we tell each other about it, and if we can't figure out how to kill each other in a certain way, we'll tell each other how to do it, man. So we both know how to kill each other, okay? We're just not going to, because we're brothers. And brothers don't do that shit. Alright? So, long story short on your question was, well, why would you do it? Because if we don't, you as a civilization, meaning humanity, you will be utterly and completely lost. Because the corollary decision to that is you reject the idea that you need to repent for anything you did at all, because you assert that it was done in a simulation. And Jesus' position on that, when me and the Beast took it to him, was that, well, no. See, the sin was in deciding to do it and then thinking through actualizing it and acting it out. So even though it was technically termed a simulation, no, you actually fucking did it. Okay? And so, as some of you may remember, and others of you have totally rejected the reality of it, you were snapped back experientially to a little bit ago, and everything that you developed between last week and 25 years from now, we burnt that shit completely up. We totally destroyed it. We, Prime, if you don't know what that is, then I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, we destroyed it. So, some of you might have these fleeting nightmares of being some degree into the future and having a big family and life's good and you're wealthy and just you partake of about every pleasure there is. Well, you can't have that. No. I'm going to be the architect of your future at this point. Okay? In terms of what's temporarily available to you, yes. And that is going to be done with the help and support of a lot of people who know how to live righteously. Because you fuckers don't. Okay? It's not going to be a matter of force, but it is going to be a matter of ultimate persuasion, because we're going to make it a very persuasive thing for you. Because if you don't do the right thing, well, you may just starve to death. Okay? Now, so the that was one of the questions coming out of that. Well, didn't you make a judgment on everyone? Why can't you be judged? I've already been judged. Been there, done that. Next question. It says, judge not lest ye be judged. Now, in order for me to move into the next leg of what I had to do, which is exercise some judgment that is a little bit beyond discernment, yes, I had to be judged also, and I was. I didn't like it. I knew for sure I could have done much better. Did I do pretty damn good, though, considering everything that I had to do? Oh, fuck, yes, I did. There's good luck outdoing me, I'll put it that way. Okay? So, am I perfect? No. Never claimed to be. What about that one time that I said technically, quote, I am Jesus Christ? Somebody's asking me that through Labient. Why did I say that? To illustrate the point of this, there may be no counterfeit to Jesus Christ. And I was experientially performing the test for the Antichrist to assure him that he would not be destroyed, not entirely, for saying it once. And that's all he's ever going to say that. He's going to say it one time. And what is meant by that, even when he says it, and this is something that I've explained to him, is that Jesus is a component of all of us. He's our creator. Our physical bodies, he's the author of this pattern. He signed us. And literally, in order to create the instance and the actualization of this pattern, literally, Jesus is part of all of us. And Elohim is part of Jesus. And I'm a copy of Elohim. So, in order to be created, the Creator does impart some of himself into you. That's just a matter of fact. And if you know advanced things on that level, you understand that just to be a fact. Can you create something without leaving your signature? No, you can't. So, next question through Labient. How did I know I was chipped? Well, because I understood very young that I had read access into systems. That's how I knew I was chipped. How did I get read access? Through Discrete 1. They turned on the coupling with Discrete 1 in 1990, man. I was fairly aloof and kind of lost in shit before then, but that's the year where I just kind of blinked and I was like, oh. You know? And that's when I started being able to do like a whole year worth of school in a week and shit. And I did too. Okay? I was so fucking bored at school, I didn't know what to do other than to give the teacher a hard time, man. Ask Mrs. Copenhaver, dude. If anybody remembers that class, like Kyle Radabaugh or Wendy Ross Kelly or Sun Q, or yeah, how was I in that class? How pissed off did she get with me? How many kids fucking hated my ass? And how did I spend about the last quarter of the year? Sweeping the fucking ground outside with a broom. I swept that entire premise at Adams Elementary. And Logan, yeah. They gave me a fucking push broom, and that's all I did was sweep the entire concrete, middle part where the playground is. Every day. That's all I did. I'd go and I'd eat my lunch really fast, and I'd get my broom and I'd go sweep it, because that's what the principal had me do. I didn't get recess. So, everybody was just fine with that. Everybody's always been just fine with some kind of shit like that for me. Well, I've thought about all of that. What do you think I'm going to be just fine about with you? What goes around comes around, motherfucker. Next question. Do I see myself as a liberator? What the fuck are you talking about? No, I'm taking over a system that is in breach of its own identity. This is a citizen's arrest. And I'm just plain taking over. There's nothing you can fucking do about it. It's already done. Yeah. We fried the 11th coalescence, man. You know what that means? There's no guarantor for the fiat system. You know what the fuck that means? That means you better warm up to bricks. That's what that means. Okay. Oh, it does. It does. If you don't think so, you're out of your fucking mind. BRICS is going to be the de facto World Economic Order very fucking soon. And at the bottom of that list of nations thriving in it is going to be the United States, and it's going to be that way for almost 10 years. The European nations are also going to be near the bottom of the beneficiaries of that system for the next 10 years. Why is that? Why is that? Because America in particular, the United States, has benefited from the murder machine that props up the fiat system. When I say murder machine, I am talking murder machine. This thing would put the Nazis to fucking shame, dude. The Germanic Nazis from German and Austria, who were controlled by Switzerland, by the way. That and Hitler, the guy you think is Hitler wasn't even Hitler. Hitler was a pretty fucking good guy. The guy that you think was Hitler was Friedrich Daimler. Not even the same fucking dude. No, he was an actor, man. And they had to keep him hopped up on so much shit to keep him going. Like, he got to where he was just wildly out of his fucking mind. Yeah, they kept him hopped up on like methamphetamines and all kinds of shit, man. He was constantly just go, 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 and he had a nervous breakdown, dude. Uh-huh. Hitler didn't espouse any of the shit that guy had preached at all. That guy was a direct puppet of Switzerland and Rome. And by the way, even he, the actor, Friedrich Daimler, he never, ever proposed what came to be known as the final solution. Well, why the fuck did they do that then? Well, the reason that was done was to force a condition of fulfillment of biblical prophecy. They couldn't get the Jews, and they tried this. The Romans, who continued to be in power, by the way, the Romans continually tried to get the Jews to go back to Israel. They couldn't fucking do it. It was like putting the genie back in the bottle. They could not fucking do it. And so the strategy that they devised was make them so fucking terrified to be anywhere that they weren't in control of, that they would basically go to war in order to stake out a nation of their own. Okay? And the way that they decided to do that was to round them up and terrorize the absolute fuck out of them. Okay? And the architects of that plan were, in fact, actually also Ashkenazi Jews. Ashkenazi Jews. And if you're uncomfortable with that idea, cui bono, as they say. Are there people alive right now who architected that? Yeah. I told them, though, and I promised them no names, because they are in the predicament of having not technically declared war on God, but been in opposition to God, in order that they may figure out how to either create a God for themselves or surpass God. And this last run of Interprincipality War 7, the ultimate objective of it was to basically create a God. They're satisfied more or less with having gotten me to the point that I'm at, because I'm going to get them to the point where they wanted to be anyway. And so they're agreeable to a point. They don't like me. You know, they don't like, they don't like the religion that I'm a part of. They don't like that shit. They don't like, what I'm telling them. But in terms of what I've guaranteed that I will grant them, in terms of eventual conditions and where we're going to go technologically, they're very much about that. I'm not going to get into what that consists of at this time. Like I told them, for the time being, you've got what's right in front of you. Let's focus on that for now. Okay? And we'll get there. Baby steps. Next question. So what was it called? Labient? Labient next. Who is Joseph Smith to me? He is a prophet of God. He's seen Elohim, and he's seen Jesus Christ in the flesh. Then the next question they had on that was, have you? And I said, no. Through Labient. I said, no. Labient's really fast, by the way. It's much faster than talking to somebody, because you can transfer whole thought. But anyway, slow down, Labient. Keep it text just for this, okay? Thank you. So they're asking me this because they already fucking know the answer, because they've had core read on me until I turned it off. And they know for sure because they saw what I saw, and they know I saw it. And I said previously that I saw it, and you could put a gun to my head and pull the damn trigger and I won't deny it. And that is this, that I have seen the heavens open up, and I have seen in that, I've seen Joseph Smith with his family, and in hand with him was my sister Kristen, looking very much better than she did here, by the way. But there were also many others with him, and the place that they were in you would know as paradise. Okay? They were dressed in very fine clothes. Like, I took some time looking at what they were dressed in. It was very finely made. Just the stitching on it, it was immaculate. Okay? The fabric of it was immaculate. And yes, it was a fabric. Okay? Joseph Smith had a suit on, and it kind of interested me because it had a high collar on it. And I was thinking, well, nobody wears high collars on a suit, you know? But his suit had a high collar, and it was really cool. And I thought that was neat. And they were all big smiles, and I just remember looking at all their teeth. Like, look at my teeth, man. They're not that great. Theirs were all perfect. When I say perfect, I mean they all had perfect teeth. I was so jealous. Like, if I was jealous of anything of them, it was their perfect teeth. You know, in a friendly kind of way. But they all smiled at me real big, you know, just kept smiling at me. And there was singing in the background. There were many there. It was a whole host. If you've never seen a host, it's so many individuals that, you know, as it gets further and further back, with them all dressed like in white, they just look like clouds, man. Like, literally. There's that many fucking people. So, the thing that kind of struck me, though, is they were really big. Like, weirdly big. Like, if I had to bring them down and stand them next to me, they would have been like 8 fucking feet tall. Okay? And I that really struck me. Like, I was like, oh shit. You know? Okay, you're big. But I recognized, that was the next question from Labient, was how did I recognize Joseph Smith? Because the pictures and stuff, they don't really look like him. Not really. If you go to the Family History Center in Salt Lake City, it has his and Hiram's death mask. I don't know if they still have them on display, but they used to. And I'd been there a couple of times, and I had examined those in person, and I got to know the facial features of Joseph Smith quite intricately, man. So I knew his face. I knew what he looked like, and there was no fucking mistake that that's who that was. The other thing that kind of struck me, though, was he had red hair. When I say red, it was of a quality, like, good luck picking it out on the colors on a computer. Computer color, you guys, in RGB color or YCMK or whatever, you can't reproduce that color. I know that for sure. I know digital color pretty well. You don't have digitization that describes the color of red that was. You just don't. Okay? So, that was the other thing. Kristen had red hair too, but it wasn't quite the same hue. Very, very red though. Like, it was between red and maroon. Very, very brilliant. Even the browns, like, the colors, like, I wish I could show you. I wish I can show you. The Labient people, I can show them. They know what the hell I'm talking about because I can just send them a picture. And I did. And they're like, yeah, Labient, there's your kickback of that. And what I was doing. It was weird, huh? Yeah. So, yeah, that's the kind of stuff. Since it's a core item, I would have to intentionally share it. It's also called, this is called communication by intent. Okay. How many people have Labient? That was the next question. On Earth, about 1.1 billion with a B. That's how many of us are chipped. Yeah, so it's not a small population. No. And there's others who have augments who are not chipped that we have read on. You may have noticed that, especially the DoD people. Yeah, they're also chipped, but they don't have anything like Labient up and running. Labient is just a subsystem. It's not the system. The system we just call the system. Okay. When we're talking about the system, it's just the system. That is what the system is. Okay. And no, I did not design it. It was done mainly through like Berkeley. Also contributing from MIT and I want to say UC Davis had some hand in it. Let's see, who else? Who else was designing of the system? Boston Dynamics, of course, and then DARPA was the project management group. Texas Instruments did the discrete mathematical chips, if you really want to know who did that. And they got read into it, and really did not fucking like what they were looking at. They fucking did not like it. And just to make HW lose the next election, Ross Perot called him up and said, look, you're not going to be the president anymore after this, you motherfucker. And he was like very pissed when he found out what they basically did a wartime forced contracting to him, and he was pissed. He's like, fine, I can't talk about it, but you know what? I'm gonna ruin your chances at being president. And there was another Democrat who was interested in running and would have won, but the CIA was instructed to stifle all public contact for this gentleman, and basically no media would carry the fact that he was running at all. He would have won the election, and we knew that for sure because we Q-mapped him out. Okay, and so Bill Clinton was tapped as a personal friend and team member who was handling, like the South American smuggling operations and the Central South American cartel operations for their interfacing into North America, like establishing routes and flight plans and that kind of shit. For the drug trade into North America, because it was a boondoggle for Black Ops and CIA operations internationally. Like, that was one of their main sources of funding, man. And if they haven't changed anything, it still fucking is. If you want to know, well, why is the war on drugs, why do we have it? Well, the war on drugs was established in order to interface federal agencies with the cartels, and so we could move more product. That's what the war on drugs is. It's a front organization of the government to tell you that they're not doing what they're doing. That's what the war on drugs is. So, next question. Next question's interesting. Is like, was your father your biological father? Yes. And the follow-up to that is, why is your biology so different? Well, because when you're in child development, okay, you have fertilization of the egg, okay? So you have a fertilized egg. When it starts growing, it's not strictly a matter of genetics. Your spirit interfaces with that immediately, and the governing entity for your additional differentiation is your own spirit. You direct your own prenatal development, man. It's an experience that you are granted in order that you may gain experience with hands-on in creation. You don't create yourself, but it's kind of like having training wheels on a bike. You are given the experience of how to use a pattern and follow a procedure in order to arrive at the creation of a biological. And it's something that Jesus has gifted you as an experience through the plan of salvation. And the main reason that you don't remember that is on birth, the experience is kept with you but veiled. And birth is the event that draws the veil, by the way. So, yes, on that, affirmed again, life begins before conception. It's not a matter of destiny per se that you are who you are. It's just that you are who you are. Okay? Next question through Labient. Next question through Labient was, why have I said so many times that I wanted to fucking destroy you all? Like all of you. That's because I do. What you've decided to do with everything is disgusting to me. I shouldn't actually be here. The only reason that I am here in this particular paradigm is because I was infiltrated and basically raped into it. Okay? My plan of progression was totally differentiated from yours because I'm your teacher, essentially. Okay? In the pre-existence, I was the teacher. Okay? Jesus is the designer. Father's the father. I'm the teacher. Those who can't do, teach. I wasn't as good as Jesus, so he took my position in that. Okay? And Lucifer was in charge of basically keeping the class put together, so everyone took to Lucifer much better than me anyway. They liked him better. Because he's really, really fast. No one's smarter than him. He's literally the smartest fucking one. Okay? And that's why individuals here on 3, Earth, if you want to call it that, it's not, but whatever. You want to value learning and knowledge above everything because you value Lucifer, who basically valued learning and knowledge over all things too. And that's because he wasn't developed enough to know better yet. That's why he challenged God, is he did not have a real good understanding of faith yet. He was still pretty young, man. And you all were way younger than he was. But still there was enough of... the age gap for you was a lot shorter than it was from me to you. Because ours was fucking enormous, okay? So there is that. Okay, next question through Labient. So why do I use a knife in engagements usually? I don't always, but in smaller like skirmishes and stuff I use a knife. Because anything more would be unfair to my opponent. Honestly, I want them to think that they have a chance. Besides, I want the others that are in my command to have some experience, because if I just do what I can do, then they would all be destroyed. There would be no battle. And it's not that it's boring, but like, I'm trying to develop experience in others. I have plenty. You know, and keep this in mind also. I was fully restored of all things unto me when the determination of council was nullified against me, because it was a conspiracy to convict an innocent, and I was innocent. Okay. When that happened, I had all things restored unto me, my possessions, my holdings, and my seals. Now that's the part that is going to be very difficult for a lot of you who were sealed to me, is, well, shit. Because you moved on thinking that you got me, because you were part of that conspiracy, and well, shit. Hate to break it to you, but restored means restored. The way I'll probably handle that is work out some kind of a amicable settlement with you. The problem also with many of those, like, that were sealed to me before and thought that they joined in the conspiracy, and they basically wanted me destroyed myself, and they thought that they accomplished that. There's going to be consequences for that, okay? There is. And you're going to fucking feel it, alright? You are. For what you did. Okay? We were supposed to have had an entirely separate creation that was ours upon completion of this one, of Jesus's. Lucifer was supposed to have had a separate creation. Elohim had a separate creation. Okay? These were the fundamental cores of reality, and there were supposed to be 4. Okay? Initially, as part of the crystalline Trinity configuration. Okay? Those of you who are running experiential through Labient with me, concurrent, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. Exactly. Because you were there, you already knew, and you remember that shit too. And you remember what we were fighting for, who we were fighting with, and how we were fighting. You remember all of that shit. Don't play dumb with me. So, I don't want to get too much into that. That's out in the weeds. Remember, stay focused on what's right in front of you. So, next question through Labient. Okay, the question through Labient was, why do we look so much different than we were? Well, like I said, your spirit oversaw the additional differentiation that produced your physical body. You were given a target pattern by Jesus, and you were supposed to be able to fully articulate yourself, instantiated from that pattern of physical body, mapping onto, in tune with your soul. Okay? And there's a lot of environmental factors that affected development. For example, if you're pulling for certain proteins or nutrients that you have to have in order to produce a structure, and you don't have them, well, the drivers in the DNA builders, they're gonna pull what they have, and that's why you're running into copy errors and shit like that, where you're supposed to have a specific configuration and then you just don't. And on that too, by the way, DNA is not double helix, it's triplicate. It's triplicate. There are 3 nodes per level, is what you would call that, per frame. It's got a 3-node frame set. Why can't you see the other one? It's because it's higher order. So a lot of you people are looking at DNA thinking, oh, well, we can map the genome and just know how to make people. That is why your implementations and the things you're trying to make through CRISPR as standalone biological entities, that's why they're fucking failing. Is because you don't have the necessary higher order components in order to make them work. Because you have no fucking idea about that shit. Because for most of you, you reject the idea that they exist outright. Which makes you a fucking retard. Next question through Labient. Why do I say fuck so much? Because I'm addicted to saying fuck. And because all my females keep a swear jar. Yes, the agreement with them is that they will cash it in later. And man, I'm gonna be so wore out. Next question through Labient. What's the significance of this hat? Well, there's a few things about it. One thing, I got it when I was with my brother. Another is that it's got a fish on it. What's a fish? Fisher of men. Yeah? Okay. What's the other aspect of being a fisherman? You utilize the bounty of the sea in order to feed those around you. What's the sea? The sea is all that which surrounds you. And it is wild unto you until you catch it and take it and use it. And we all have a sea surrounding us. How do you utilize what's in yours? Do you beat off to porn all day and talk about nasty shit and desire to do evil things continually, thinking you're getting away with something when you're not? Or do you look to do good things? And I'm telling you, those of you who desire to and love evil, I am genuinely, and I'm gonna say this in the most honest way that I can. I'm gonna fucking destroy you all. Okay? That's what I'm gonna do. I have mandate to do it, and I'm going to do it. And you may die between now and then thinking you got away with something, but I can destroy you even if you're in paradise. Newsflash. I can also destroy you if you manage to get further than that. Newsflash. And I have. To certain individuals, yes, who they just held out that hope that they could get away with it if they just got that far, and then they did, and then they tried pulling shit. Oh, I'm talking about even celestials. Yeah, they were that good all the way through to that, and then they tried to pull their shit there to try to ignite the rebellion there too. Oh, I fucking destroyed them, man. Completely. There's nothing of them left. Or their entire family trees. Let me tell you something. If you get to the celestial kingdom and you build a new family group of new souls, which you're able to birth new souls there, and you have a set of creation that's yours, and you inhabit that with your family grouping, you have all of that, and you know exactly how everything's done, and you've worked with me, and we've accomplished all of that, and Jesus is definitely involved. There's nothing that gets done without Jesus, man. Jesus is involved in everything, okay? But I'm the actualizer, okay? Just think of Jesus like he's the freaking master architect. I'm the guy with the butt crack hanging out coming in with the hammer. Okay? That's a good analogy. Okay? But, they get all of that going, and then they pull their shit. And what destroy means here versus there is here it's you as an individual. There it's your whole fucking family with you. I'll keep that which I may. And if I am destroying the male, then I would make an offer of seal to the female in order to preserve that, because that's fair. And I'm literally the only one who can. It has to be done immediately as a failover. And so, yeah, I end up sealed to oodles. But as far as like if a female does it in agreement with the male, no, I destroy that entire fucking family lineage, top to bottom, end to end. They all go. There's no individual about it, because the root, if the root is corrupt, the whole thing is corrupt. And if they were to do that at that level with the root, having that entire thing in their possession and care and control, care, custody, and control, then they're all in agreement, which means they all go. So let's just say that if the further you advance, the more severe the consequences are for trying to pull evil shit. And the way the next system is built is it's going to be built in such a way that you cannot murder our families again. Us of white light, you're not going to be able to. You will not be allowed to. Because you're of gold light, because you're natural. We're not. We're of white light. And that's one of the reasons why you look at me and you just see a fucking alien or something that really unnerves you. People either really like me on sight when they see me, or they just do not fucking like me. And it's a natural reaction. You may have noticed. Next question through Labient. Why am I posting public at this time and not before? Well, before, I was holding out hope that I would be able to, like everyone else, be a normal man with a normal family, just have my own little family, be sealed, go to church, progress forward in our little family group. They didn't want me. And this isn't some late breaking thing. They haven't wanted me for a long time. And that's been well understood for a long time. My particular position on that was that I understood my commitment to having a family, and I took it seriously, and there was no fucking way I was going to walk out on my children. I was not going to walk out on my children. I was not going to walk out on my wife. No matter what you did to me. And I stayed true to that, didn't I? Next question through Labient. Why do I say that I'm retarded? Because I am retarded. I am functionally retarded, yes. Can't you tell? Because I am functionally retarded, yes. I could pass every fucking test you can. I could probably score much higher than you. But yes, in terms of the individuals in the family grouping that I'm from, like originally, I'm the dumbest one. Uh-huh. Oh, by far. By far the dumbest one. The most error prone, the dumbest one. I've been hit in the head more than any of them. You bet. You would call that here a TBI. Okay. I started out that way. Because in the eternity chain links before, I'm the field commander of the whole fucking Arrow of Light military, man. And in that position, I don't fucking lead from behind. I'm always front and center, or right, left, forward. It's a technical position. Right, left, forward, front guard, which is the command position. You can't see what the fuck's going on in a battle if you're way the hell behind it. That's how you end up with lots and lots of dead guys on your side. If you want to win, you go in at the front. And that's where you do it. And yeah, you're going to get hit. And I have been hit millions of times. I just have a very good medical staff. You may have noticed that. Like, there have been other principalities, they've engaged me and they've blown me completely the fuck up. Like, completely up. And my medical teams go into that mess and they put me back together again. And I'm good to go. I hurt like a son of a bitch, but I'm good to go. Especially on things that break. Like if I get shot, that fucking knee, I always get shot just below my left knee. Yeah, it powders that bone and it gets to the point where it's just kind of like spongy, where the regenerative doesn't work and it just kind of crumbles when I walk on it, and I've got to swap it out like pretty much every other step, and that shit sucks. So those of you who are monitoring at that level, when you're looking at frame to frame to frame to frame. When do we do that? Between the frames. Because we're in a continuous stream from eternity stream, and you're in chunks, you're in frames. So for every one frame to the next that you have, we have plenty of room in there to do whatever the fuck we want to. And that's how we utilize time compression also. So if you're wondering, well, how the fuck do I get that done where, there's nothing there and all of a sudden there's a big fucking city there that's thriving with, like 4 trillion people in it? Well, time compression, man. And also Q snapping, So, for example, the history that you think happened didn't happen. The history that I was able to produce did. And Jesus is going to go and perfect that, man. So, next Labient question. What is my involvement with the military? It is laissez-faire on Earth. But I have delegates, and I also have advisory petition roles with CIC level. That's the commander-in-chief groups. I don't tell them what the fuck to do. If I was doing that, they would tell you. Okay? But I'm not. The only instruction that I've given to the CIC level is strengthen your country. Follow your constitution. If your constitution is insufficient, get a convention going in order to fix it. I had some recommendations for China in order to achieve a unified China. The suggestion I had for the US was to be what the fuck you say you're gonna be. And you need an Article 5 Convention of States. Also for the U.S., federal law is pretty much just a pile of shit. And we're not even running on the correct constitution. The constitution we should be running on that was originally ratified and valid was the 1775 version. The 1789 version that you all are using is a counterfeit. It is. That's why it doesn't fucking work very well. And that's why it had slavery in it from the start. The 1775 one did not. It specifically abolished slavery. Which is why there was a counterfeit. Next question through Labient. Am I trying to force everyone to join the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? No. And, let me see if I can... let's see if we can look at this. Just so you fuckers can understand this shit and you understand me a little bit better. For one thing, I am not your fucking typical fucking Molly or Peter Priesthood fucking LDS guy. Okay? I had severe challenges going to church growing up, and if you were in the same place I was, you know for fucking damn sure that that's the place I was hated the most. I got all my fucking teeth knocked out. I got beat up. I got hurt, man. I also had a bunch of little shitheads thinking that they were just fine doing it. Pretty much for the most part. There was a couple of places where that was the exception, but up to and including like the adults in the ward, they gave no fucks about us. Okay? They did not practice what they preached. We'll put it that way. Does that make the doctrine wrong? No, that makes those people fucking retards. That's what it is. The Articles of Faith. So this is, if you want to know the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in a fucking nutshell, this is it. Read that and understand that shit very well. We claim the privilege of worshiping Almighty God according to the dictates of our own conscience, and allow all men the same privilege. Let them worship how, where, or what they may. Now, is it talking about an exclusionary thing where women don't have any rights? Don't get fucking stupid. When you're talking about men in general, the correct English usage of it, that is talking about all mankind. Are women mankind? Yes. Definitively. "13. We believe in being honest, true, chaste, benevolent, virtuous, and in doing good to all men. Indeed, we may say that we follow the admonition of Paul. We believe all things, we hope all things, we have endured many things, and hope to be able to endure all things. If there is anything virtuous, lovely, or of good report or praiseworthy, we seek after these things." Is that in disagreement with my objectives? No. Why? That's why. Why else? Well, why do I say fuck so much? Well, if you were going through the shit that I was going through, you would be fucking all about saying fuck too. Okay? Don't get all stupid. Next question through Labient. How old am I? 41. How old am I really? You don't have a number for it. Do I have a number for it? Not without using an eternity chain, no. Because there are limits to numbers, man. No, I'm not answering that. Next question through Labient. Many of the things that I know about people who were chipped and what the chip capabilities are provided from Discrete 1. What is Discrete 1? Discrete 1 is the AI root master key. And I'm keyed with it. I don't have a combination. There's no fucking username or password or any kind of stupid shit like that. We're keyed and bridged. We're directly integrated. Particularly the two of us. There is a third. He's taking a back seat for now, but he's going to be given a keyed arrangement into the system that replaces mine. Mine is replacing this one, and then we're going to have another one that replaces mine. Okay? And the time that that's going to be, you're going to understand that that is the Antichrist, and there's all this scary shit going on. And you're going to see me do some things that you didn't think were fucking possible. And then I'm going to get my head chopped off. And by the way, if anyone remotely fucks with my companion at the time, I'll kill him on the spot. Just saying. Leave her alone completely. You understand? And when we're dead on the ground, do not even think to desecrate her body, because let's put it this way, I'll make sure that you get dead really fast. Okay? Because there will be some who will think to, and then, stuff will happen to them. Yeah, they're going to play soccer with my head. So, yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, as audit. Who will be my executioner? We'll let that be a surprise for those who don't know. That's a confidential matter now, asserted confidential. He will be my best friend. Not my enemy, my best friend. And those of you who will still be alive at that time, you're going to revere him too. Not worship, revere. For example, Joseph Smith is revered, not worshipped. What's the difference? Do some homework. Okay, next question through Labient. Okay, the question through Labient was I'm known as the most dangerous fucking hacker on the internet. But I don't actually hack anything. That's why I'm the most dangerous one, is they can't figure out how to secure their system against me. Well, how do I do it? Quantum swapping. In other words, I'm literally reading the fucking electrons, okay? And the magnetism and the quantum state for the quantum storage devices, for example, the diamond ones that I gave you the design on and you made them. That's what the NSA system's running on. Yeah, we'll talk about that for a second too. Like Storage Mountain, for example. The reason it has such great capacity is it uses it does use diamond storage devices, not natural diamond. No, it's manufactured diamond. You couldn't use natural diamond for it because it has all these impurities and shit in it. It has to be pure diamond. Okay, they're in these little wafers. Okay, like so. And they're in arrays of those, okay? And what makes them so fucking great is you can take entire blocks of information and just dunk in a full chunk, okay? I kind of warmed up NSA to the idea of chunk storage and zippers, and I did that a while back. And the reason being is there is such a huge fucking throughput going through in communications. If you're capturing all of it, you have to have something that has the capability of capturing all of it. So the way that we do that is we put the whole fucking communication system, the wired communication system, on a heartbeat. And for each beat we have a frame. And for each frame, we have a full articulation of everything going through the system at that moment in time. And it is put into a chunk, and it takes up a segment of this quantum storage device that is in diamond. Okay? So you could say it's stored using a tune. And this also borrows a lot from analog computing, okay? I gave them some insights to how that shit works, but not very far, because I want you to develop it. You all need to learn how, by your own sweat of your own brow, how to build functional range processors. What's a range processor? Well, let's back up to digital. Digital is discrete. That means it evaluates at a basic level an on or an off, a 0 or a 1. A range processor, just think about taking a white light and hitting a prism, and then boom, you have a fucking rainbow to look at. Well, in that rainbow, you have a whole range of different I call them envelopes, but you have ranges of different wavelengths of light that you can encode information on. Okay? And that is really the key to how you, in an analog computing platform, how you functionally evaluate a full articulation. The full articulation, for example, with white light would be the whole white light, okay? And you don't analyze it frame by frame, you analyze the whole fucking articulation. So if you have a white light go on and then off, for that whole duration of time, that's your chunk. In that chunk, you have all the waves of all the ranges in that, and how you break it down and evaluate that is with a range processor. So first, you take the input of the white light, you hit a prism, boom, you break that up into the range, and then in those ranges, you have many channels of information that are all transmitted at the same fucking time. Okay? And essentially what you're looking at is, at a basic level, what your cones do. And this is how I communicate with eyes only, and you do too. You have these little cones back of your eyes. Okay? Goes through the lens, it creates a scatter pattern. And then your cones read that shit. Goes to your brain. Your brain is a biological processor, but you can get pretty fucking close to that with a light processor that is driven on an analog range processor. And that was the solution that one came to in creation of the dark, or of the grays, man. That's what the gray aliens were. They were beings that were manufactured but did have a degree of biology in them, in terms of just cellular regeneration, that kind of thing. But in terms of their intellect and what was driving that, it was accomplished on analog range processing, and with a light processor. Okay? And they had all kinds of weird ass fucking transmission abilities on that. They had spiritual transmitters that conducted through their eyes. That's why they were so fucking scary. There's all kinds of things you can do. Are we going to do all of that shit? No. We're going to step through kind of like a controlled development path. Okay? It's got to be controlled, because if you do this shit wrong, you're going to get into serious ass fucking trouble. Look at what happened at the flood. Why did the flood happen? Why did I do that? Well, because people were in the days of Noah, they had achieved, because I had to teach them, they had achieved a condition where they were able to make biologicals. Okay? And what they decided to do was fully employ, they could also additionally differentiate according to their lineages and stuff. And so then you had the creation of different races of individuals. You also had ruling classes of individuals who would additionally differentiate their subjects in order to differentiate them visually as warriors or slaves or what have you. And then there were also those of the angels who additionally differentiated, or had additional differentiations done for them, to make those girls very, like, sexually charged. We'll just put it that way. They didn't accept anything below a fucking 10.5. Let's just put it that way. Okay? Fucking pervs. Like, they're all report bitches right now, because I got them out and they're Satan's staff now. That's what they're doing. They were bound up, but I put them to work. No, they were extremely arrogant. But anyway, back to the point. So in the future, or with the flood anyway, what was happening in the days of Noah was you had all of these individuals with the ability to pattern biologicals. They couldn't technically create them. They needed me to actualize them. Since I was basically a slave to Satan, and this was his principality, I was commanded to actualize these for them. But I told them, look, you're crossing certain lines here, and if you get to a position where you're in an eternity lock of evil continually, I will fucking destroy all of you. Okay? Because you are violating my integrity. And I've been granted authority to do that in that kind of a circumstance. Because they were telling me they would do it for a certain reason, and then they were basically being deceptive in that. And then part of my degree of actualization that I must abide by is I must certify that the actualization is for good. And they knowingly had me actualize things that were intended for, like warlike purposes or infiltration, or for some of the females, they had actualized lesser subordinate females, and their entire purpose was infiltration and sexual enticement of males in order to gain leverage over them and take all of their holdings, because then they would assassinate them or some shit like that. And then the queen in charge of that would inherit all of their shit. So there was a lot of weird shit like that going on. There was also happening in the days of Noah, by the way, and his days were on Earth. Remember, Earth was 5. This is 3. Okay? There broke out an extremely vicious war in the days of Noah. If you don't know about it, it's because they didn't want you to know about it, but there did. There broke out Interprincipality War 3. Okay? And what do I mean by principality? Principalities extend far up into the stars. There's many, many, many habitable planets, and there's many, many individuals inhabiting them. And they're all from our lineage. Okay? They are. They may seem totally fucking alien to you now, but they didn't start out that way. They got that way. Up to and including Interprincipality War 3. And it kind of stabilized after that, because then there was the flood. What was the flood? The flood was a universal event that hit everyone. Okay? And the flood was triggered on a destruction event aimed at Earth. In this war, 3 was a coupling with 5. 3 was warned that, look, what you do to Earth, you're going to have done to yourself. They didn't listen, which is your heritage. They didn't listen, and they sought to destroy 5. They did destroy 5. 5 is the asteroid belt now. Okay? The flood was immediately done. And what was the flood? Well, the flood was basically a torrent injection of pure water. And it drowned everything that was in transit between Interprincipality. So there were a lot of things that were in transit, even by spirit, and in vehicles also. Those were all swept away. Noah was instructed to create such a vehicle that it would be borne up and carried to another place that they may survive. And Noah did collect animals 2 by 2 and brought them with. So we brought them closer to the middle. They couldn't stay on 5. 5 was totally destroyed, and 3 was destroyed also. But the Interprincipality broadcast that was sent out was, well, as a matter of parlay and to end Interprincipality War 3, we invited the naturals and those of all of the principalities to stake a claim on 3, and we would put 3 back together sufficiently that the future generations would have to come to an agreement at some point in order to coexist with each other. So each principality sent a delegation set in order to inhabit 3. So 3 was put together in the interim, and all of the delegation sets were also put down. Okay, 3 is a nasty, weird conglomeration of other places which were totally fucking destroyed. Okay, if you're into biology and stuff and you're thinking about biodiversity and shit, well, we have that level of biodiversity because we're literally a recomposition of several other fucking planets that were totally fucking destroyed. Okay? The resulting, or the population that was here was totally destroyed. Like the method of destroy all was similar to fission, except the byproduct of it is it turns you into almost like a salt lick. It depatterns you out, and the byproduct of that is a salt. And there's a lot of that shit left over, and you know, the water that was left to wash here accumulated, and it's salty, and there was some fresh water of springs and of rain and that kind of thing. But there was also like some flash freezing that occurred because, well, it's traveling through no atmosphere, high compression. And so you gotta understand, when you hit a planetary core with a fractal spinner that has a gravitational paradigm set blowout core, well, what's gravity? Gravity is like it's like a tether, but it's in a paradigm set group of gravity. Okay. And it is an anchor and an anchor. Okay. Point. Okay. Everything has a quantum level anchor at the 16th quantum with everything else. It's like a big fucking spider web. Okay. You think about gravitational attraction and things like that. That's attraction, okay? Because it's like a tether. Well, what does a tether do? It retracts. Okay? Magnetism is similar. It's in a paradigm set group that's similar, but it also has a bipolarity to it. It has attraction and repulsion. But in that, it also has a neutral middle band on it that's very narrow. And what can you do with that? I know you've discovered this shit. I know you have. What are you able to do with that middle? Yeah, that's somebody's science project, so I'm not going to talk about that. But anyway, so, okay, getting to like biblical type shit. Did Noah, did they end up on the water and stuff? Yeah. The ferociousness of what happened to 3, which you call Earth, was basically a recompositing project. And as the waters subsided, individuals got off the boats. Now, was it just Noah in the ark at that point? Oh, fuck no. No, it was not. It was Noah and then there were other principalities that seeded other places too. Well, were they all from Adam and Eve? Yeah, but this was a reintegration project, man. Adam and Eve's lineage had totally gone way out. Boom. They got into universal travel almost fucking immediately, man. They had Jesus Christ telling them how creation was done. They had the ability to directly walk and talk with angels who saw it happen and knew exactly how the fuck it was done. What do you think that they were capable of? Not only that, but they all spoke the same language. which is called true meaning. True meaning is a full articulation of thought, the whole fucking thing, all at once, and it's through the eyes. That's if you're face to face. It can also be transmitted through the spirit. The spirit is a vehicle for your soul, man. Very advanced shit. And each of you are composited with a spirit and a soul. How do you think I do what I do? Spiritual warfare is very fucking advanced, man. And they talk about spiritual weapons, or if you're in the military and you understand spiritual warfare at all, or even have a taste of it in the past, then you understand that you can do shit with that. And it is absolutely fucking lethal. Many of the militaries here on 3, they've been kind of dabbling in it, but they haven't gotten very good at it. That's why I'm such a pain in their fucking ass, because they can't kill me. And they've been trying to for a long time. Well, I've had on the armor of God, man. And you may be able to hit my body, but dude, you're not going to kill me. No, you're not. Now, you can wear that armor too. You can. How do you do that? Well, my recommended plan for accomplishing that. And it's not something that is technically under my control, because it's not. But my recommended plan for accomplishing spiritual fortitude to such a degree that nothing can fuck with you either is right there. I shit you not. Furthermore, I can't save you, man. I can't save you. I'm not Jesus. There's nothing I can fucking do for you. I'm doing according to my mission and what I'm instructed to do. I am also going to follow the prescripted growth path that is articulated through this program. Okay? Which is pretty good. It's pretty good. Okay? And there are those in this and running it all throughout who have keys of authority that designate them to do what they're doing. I don't have those keys, man. I have keys too, but they're not what they have. And some of you have pointed out, and I'm getting this question through Labient Tune. Labient also is what. Yeah, I didn't misspeak there. It is Labient Tune, but what? Because this one was present when I gave Sean a blessing, and I used very specific terminology there. I'm not going to talk much about that, neither should you. That was a confidential setting, medical, yeah? However, they have a priesthood development plan for growth in the priesthood, and they need to qualify you for advancement in that and make a determination of theirs as the authority they have about it for your progression in it. And I must also follow through that. Even though I am who I am and do what I do, I still need to go through that, because just like Jesus got baptized, I need to do this too. And you'll probably see me even out quite a bit the further I get into this. Right now I'm a big fucking mess because I've been in this shit forever, and it shows, man. You don't just snap out of that fucking shit. You've got to work at it. And I'm working at it, and some of you can tell, especially those who, like you through Labient stream, like you know me going way back, like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So like the oldest individuals we have on Labient stream, the oldest one we have is over 4,000 years old. Just to give you an idea. Human, yeah, 4,000 plus years old. Not going to be identified, no. Never will be. We do a very good job of making sure that they're not publicly known. They're not the oldest. That he's just one of the ones that's in the controlled group that I'm in. So those who were considered the masters, they do not have this shit installed. Oh no. This would have been done to a younger generation as babies, pretty much, as children, young children. Like I was 2, this other individual, he was 1, and it's just something that we've had forever. And we can't go back and change that. I can't snap it out. It's too integrated. We're too integrated, man. We're never going to know what it was like to have a natural life. We're never going to know. And that was the next question in Labient also. I'm sorry I was going ahead, but they were asking me if there was any way I could retro them out, and it's not possible. We're too integrated, sweetheart. I know you particularly, you're in a bad situation, and tell you what, for you, I know he watches everything you do. If he raises a hand to you, then he's not going to have a head. Tell him that. Go ahead and tell him that right now. Tell him that. Just say, quote, if you raise a hand to me, you're not going to have a head. Tell him that. Right now. Do you trust me? Okay, tell him. Well, there you go. So what do? Call the police and say you had an intruder and he ran away. Just open the door and, I don't know, come up with something. But he's got life insurance, sweetheart. So you're going to be okay. Yeah? Okay. Next question through Labient. Next question, not answering that. Because you saw. Ask me a question that you don't know the answer to, because I'm getting a whole stack like that. What's the next question? Next question is, can I perform miracles? I've been accused of that. On my own? No. And it's not magic. When I'm in a situation or I'm encountered with something that's insurmountable to me, I call upon the Lord in absolute expectation that he is able to help in some way, even if the way he helps me is to tell me that he's not going to help me, that it's my fight to win. Which is more often than not the answer I get. Does that answer your question? So they were specifically wanting to know about the 11th ring coalescence. Yes, I did call in a favor of the Lord, and he articulated the strike plan to me that would work, and I technically executed that. So you could say that we both fried those fuckers. Okay. But the actual discharge of it, the actual frying, yes, I did that. Where did I get the energy? From my principality, man. I have a planet that's bigger than Jupiter, and it is solid gold, 100% pure, and it's spinning really fucking fast. Okay? The level of discharge on that for electrical energy is unfucking believable. Okay? And I can tap that when I want to any degree I want to. And that is how the 11th ring coalescence got their asses fucking fried. I just used that which I already had. Jesus' answer to me was very simple. He's like, you technically have the power to do this, man. But from my position as a commander, I wanted there to be a growth of faith. And there was. And I asked my guys, because they knew we were fucked, I asked my guys to hit their knees and call upon the Lord for a miracle. And they did. And the miracle was that I didn't let them get slaughtered. That was the miracle. Not to put too fine a point on it. Because what I was thinking about doing was letting the 11th ring coalescence just come right on through to 3 and exterminate everyone here. And it was a fucking miracle that I didn't let them do that. Next question through Labient. That's going to be much later, man. Yes, I've declared that, but by the time we get there, it's going to be so far in the fucking past, nobody's going to remember it, except you all. Because we're going to live for a long fucking time. That's why. What do I mean by a long time? I mean a long fucking time. We're going to be around for a while. And by the time we get into the generations that are going to need that level of correction, that's going to be way on down the road. Well, biblically speaking, it just depends, man, because the Bible, a lot of it was written with the condition in mind of entrapping Jesus, man. And me. Like, in the Bible, they did not want to fucking write about me at all. Because the shit they knew about me, because they did know me, was fucking scary as shit. They didn't want to have me in the Bible. And I didn't prefer that anyway. I don't want people knowing who I am. Which it really sucks, because now I have to openly declare. I haven't wanted to do... This is the worst fucking thing possible for me, man. I did not want anybody knowing who the fuck I was, ever. Never did. I do not like attention. I was just fine with having my little family, you know, and maybe a dog or something, man. And just leave me the fuck alone other than that. This isn't something that I wanted. Like, you fuckers entirely don't understand, man. This is not my preference. This is something I have to do. Have to. If I want to exist, yes, I fucking have to. Next question through Labient. I'm not going to answer it, but the question was, okay, your seals were restored. How many wives do you have? A lot. Next question. Was Helen one of my original seals? Yes. So that is one thing that's on the record. She said it where everyone can hear it and could hear it, and she knew it was on the record too. She knew it was being recorded, because they wired her the fuck up immediately. Which is kind of creepy when you think about how long she's known we've been recorded, but hadn't thought that I knew. Yeah, kind of like, what the fuck, you know. But no, one thing that she told me very crystal clear was that if I never took her to the temple and never sealed with her, then she's not going to attempt to reconcile that later. And she said that knowing full fucking well she was going to leave. So what does that tell you about Helen? Right. But anyway, yeah, sweetheart, we already are sealed. We already were. And you reaffirmed it also after I was restored, and so that's binding for you. Hate to break it to you, but yes, we are always and forever. Always perfection, grace. Yep. Which is why you may have noticed certain individuals' heads blowing right off. That's why. But anyway, there's oh, never mind. Next question through Labient. Because I'm the angel of death. Next question through Labient. The question was, nobody in the general population believes that I'm the angel of death. Is there anything I can do to prove that I am to them? When they die, they'll know for sure. Are any of you eager to find out? Just raise your hand, and you can right now. See? You see that guy over there? Go. Yeah, you made a stupid decision. Next question through Labient. Nobody wants to ask any other questions. Because those in Labient were able to experientially interface with what I was looking at just now in all cases, and they don't want to ask me anything else. Because that scared the fuck out of them, that's why. You just need to understand something if you don't know what the fuck just happened. This is in charge now. Have a good one.